Hello, boys and girls. Mr. Rager here for week 5 of music. All right, so let's get it started with our hands up. Third graders, we're doing it this style. Here's our first note. Hello, boys and hello, girls. Hello, Mr. Rager. And if you're in fourth grade, we're going to start right here on this note. So here we go. Hello, boys and hello, girls. Hello, Mr. Rager. Fifth graders, hands up now. You're going all the way up. Here we go. Hello, boys and hello, girls. Hello, Mr. Rager. All right. Well, this week's theme is going to be rainbows. Rainbows are beautiful examples in the sky of the refraction of light that sometimes happens if there's sunshine after a rainstorm. I love going out and seeing the rainbows in the sky. And also I see them painted all over the place, and they're beautiful mixtures of colors. Not really mixtures, but colors kind of all existing but working together. And so I think it's an excellent symbol of how we here at Knowlton should be acting towards each other as well, because we have people who have skin that is all different colors as well. We have people with black skin, people with white skin, people with brown skin, and people of all the color mixtures in between all those. And so the idea in our city is for those colors to be working along and working together, all right, to make our community and our neighborhood even better than it already is. All right, so that's why I think it's a nice symbol of cooperation and working together. Now, I have a book here. It is called The Rainbow Weaver. It is subtitled Tejadora del Arcoiris. And this book is in both Spanish and English. I'm going to read it in English in this video, but if you would like to hear it in Spanish, go ahead and click on the other video. All right, and this is by Linda Elevitz Marshall and illustrated by Elisa Chavarri. And this book is available in our library. If you see over here, I got the barcode from our library, so Ms. Torres can help you find it once you get back to school, if you are listening to this at home. All right, so like I said, if you want to hear Spanish, listen to the other video. If you want to hear English, keep going. Are you ready? I'm ready. Good. So we got Rainbow Weaver, and she is going to weave some very beautiful weavings. And there's an example of some of the weavings that they do in her country. She's from, oh yes, she's from Guatemala, which is a country in Central America. And her name is Ixchel. All right, it's spelled Ixchel. But I asked around to some experts, and I'm told that you say that word Ixchel. All right, that name. That's a name I had not ever heard of before. But very nice, Ixchel. All right, here we go. High in the mountains above Lake Atitlan, Ixchel watched her mother weave thread into fabric as beautiful as a rainbow. The fabric had blues as clear as the sky, reds as bright as the flowers, and yellows as golden as the corn. "Mama," Ixchel asked, "may I weave too?" Her mother shook her head. "Not now, Ixchel," she answered. "This cloth is for the market. If it brings a good price, it will help pay for your school and books." So this page over here is in Spanish, so I'm going to skip it, but I'll show you the pictures up close. See there, Mom's hard at work, weaving. In and out, Ixchel's mother and neighbors wove on backstrap looms. They wove as their mothers, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers had done before them, as Mayan women had done for more than 2,000 years. After a while, Ixchel asked, "Mama, may I weave now?" Again her mother shook her head. "Count threads with me, my love. I'll show you how we make designs." Ixchel and her mother counted together. Hun, Kai, Oshi, Kahai. With each additional color, the cloth grew longer and the design prettier. Ixchel reached for some thread. "Please?" she asked. No, my love, answered her mother. You are still too young, and there is no extra thread. Eshel crossed her arms and studied the hard-packed dirt of the yard. I want to weave. I want to help pay for my books and school, too, she thought. But she didn't say anything. Instead, she walked toward the milpa, the field where the villagers planted corn, beans, and squash. Plastic bags littered the path. Day after day, more bags were tossed from windows of passing vehicles or discarded by people returning from market. No one could use all the bags, and there was nowhere to put them. Bags, bags everywhere. What do we call bags like that? Or stuff that's just thrown on the ground that's trash? Yeah, litter. We don't like litter. Please don't be a litter bug. It does not make our communities look nice. Pushing the bags aside, Eshel gathered branches and sticks. Some of the sticks were long and some were short. She carried the sticks and branches home, then tied them together. What are you doing? A neighbor asked. Making a loom, Eshel answered. Her mother smiled. But Eshel, she said, we don't have any extra thread. I know, Mama, she answered. I won't take any. Because that would be stealing, right? If you take something that you didn't ask for without having permission. Yeah. Eshel tied one end of her loom to a tree, and then she gathered tall blades of pajon grass. Sitting on the ground, Eshel joined the blades of grass together by knotting the end of one blade to the end of another until she made a long chain. Then she pushed the batten over and under, back and forth, turning the blades of grass into fabric. When the fabric was finished, it was too small to be a doormat or even a placemat. It was too scratchy to wear as a bracelet. Worst of all, it was a dull greenish white. The fabric was far too small, far too scratchy, and far too dull for anyone to buy. Eshel knew it would never sell. Disappointed, Eshel took another walk. Climbing the path villagers took to bring sheep up the mountain, she saw a clump of black wool hanging from a branch. Eshel tucked the wool under her belt. She noticed more clumps of black and white wool dotting the grasses, sticks, and plants. Eshel gathered this wool and tucked it under her belt, too. At home, Eshel turned and twisted the wool, spinning it into a long, thick strand of yarn. Then over and under, back and forth, she pushed the batten and wove the yarn into fabric. Eshel looked at what she had woven. The fabric was thick and heavy. The colors were boring. Tiny pieces of grass and dirt were stuck in the fabric. The weaving was far too thick, far too boring, and far too dirty for anyone to buy. Tears rolled down Eshel's cheeks. There's no way my weaving will sell in the market, she thought. No way I can help. Wiping her tears, Eshel headed toward the milpa again. Along the way, she kicked aside a plastic bag. Red, purple, green, orange, yellow, and blue bags were everywhere. They were in the fields, drooping from branches and clogging roads and ditches. There were so many bags it was hard for her to walk. Angry, Eshel picked up a bag. She ripped it into shreds. Suddenly, she had an idea. Eshel gathered bag after colorful bag. She took the bags home, washed them, and hung them to dry. Now what are you doing? Another neighbor asked. Eshel smiled. You'll see, she answered. By the next day, the bags were dry. Eshel cut each bag into long, thin strips. She tied the strips together. Sitting at her loom, Eshel pushed the batten over and under, back and forth, weaving until she had used all the strips. The fabric was short, but it was clean and colorful. It had blues as clear as the sky, reds as bright as the flowers, and yellows as golden as the corn. The fabric looked like a beautiful rainbow, almost as pretty as the weavings of her mother, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers before her. What beautiful colors, huh? Mm-hmm. Wondering what else she could make with plastic bags, Eshel headed back to the milpa. As she gathered more bags, the path looked cleaner and the countryside prettier. Cleaning up trash always makes things look nicer. Mm-hmm. When Eshel returned home, her mother and neighbors were waiting with more colorful bags, plastic bags. "We saw what you were doing," said a neighbor, "and we wanted to help. And without the bags everywhere, our village looks pretty again," said another neighbor. Eshel thanked them. Then she handed the weaving to her mother and said, "My first rainbow!" Her mother hugged her close. "It's beautiful, my love," she said. "Thank you, Mama. But do you think it will sell?" "Let's take it to the market and see," said her mother. "Ah, hugs, ah." At the market the next day, Eshel and her mother watched as people walked by the stalls. Finally, a woman stopped. She picked up Eshel's weaving and asked, "Did you make this?" When Eshel nodded, the woman smiled. Her weaving sold, and for a very good price. All right, go Eshel. Woohoo! Eshel beamed with happiness. Now she could help pay for her books and school. And like her mother, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers before her, Eshel had woven a rainbow. All right, now there's a long author's note here, but it adds some neat history to the story and how this story happened to be written. So I'm going to read it for you. The Mayan people in contemporary Guatemala are among the most skilled artistic weavers in the world. Yet they face many problems: poverty, lack of education, and unemployment. To earn money for food and education, Mayan weavers have begun repurposing plastic bags as threads that they weave on traditional backstrap looms. Using ancient patterns and techniques, the Mayan weavers now employ plastic threads as well as traditional threads to create beautiful purses, clutch bags, placemats, coasters, pencil cases, and baskets. Sold through fair trade cooperatives in the United States and other countries, their products bring much needed money to the weavers' families. At the same time, the weavers help clean their villages and keep traditional Mayan cultural values alive. Mayan Hands, an organization of weavers in Guatemala, was begun in the late 1980s by my dear friends, Guatemalans Brenda Rosenbaum and her late husband, Freddie, in their adopted home city of Albany, New York, which is very near where Mr. Rake used to grew up. I grew up about an hour and a half away from Albany. Nice. Brenda and Freddie, both of whom grew up in Guatemala, developed a deep appreciation for the Mayan people and the difficulties they faced from political strife, genocidal civil war, and government policies. From the beginning, Brenda and Freddie sought my opinion in decisions ranging from product design to marketing to the actual naming of the organization. As the owner of a bookstore, I carried Mayan Hands products. In an effort to bring attention to the work of the Mayan women, I conceived the germ of this story, With the help of Brenda and Ann Kelly, Mayan Hands' Albany-based coordinator, after drafting E. Shell's story, I visited several cooperatives in Guatemala and met with weavers, shared the story, and received their input. Rainbow Weaver is my tribute to Brenda, Freddie, and the weavers at Mayan Hands. A portion of the proceeds from this book will benefit weavers of the Mayan Hands and Maya Works cooperatives. The proceeds will also help by providing money for the education of children like Eshel and for health and dental care for the weavers and their families. The end. So, just want to talk about this book a little bit. Some things that I think are important to learn, to realize that are themes of this story are, for one thing, the idea that did Eshel succeed the first time she tried to weave something? She failed not once, but twice, because she tried to weave with grass and that didn't look too good, and then she tried to weave with the wool from the sheep and that didn't look too good either. The colors were kind of boring. So I would say a good thing to take from, a good lesson to learn from this book is don't let failure stop you. All right, there's going to be times in music class when you might fail to do something the first time, but don't let that stop you. Keep going, keep trying, learn from your mistakes, and move past them. All right, that's how success was born. All right, if she had quit after 2 times weaving, she never would have sold that bag or that weaving that she did at the market the next day made out of plastic. And then also, which ties into the second lesson that we can learn from this book, and that is keeping our community and neighborhood nice and free from litter. All right, nobody likes litter sitting around, whether it's in our school, on the school grounds, or on your street, in your neighborhood. If you see litter anywhere around, please pick it up and throw it into a trash can. There's trash cans outside the school. There's tons of trash cans inside the school. And sometimes, if I see a piece of trash and I'm going out to my car, I grab it, stick it in my pocket, and throw it in the trash at home because I don't want to see it. And I like the feeling that it gives me to be doing something nice for our community, making it a little bit cleaner. All right, so that is all I have for this one. Please watch the next 2 videos, which are some songs about rainbows. All right, so hope you liked the Rainbow Weaver. Check it out at your leisure when you get back into school in the library. Okay, see you guys. Bye.